It's time for our movers and shakers segment, and there are plenty of them because the mid-cap has moved all of 1 percentage point from the morning's lows. As well, the Sensex and the Nifty are up about 0.5% from the morning's low. So plenty of movers and shakers. Our entire research team is waiting by. Sonia, let me start with you. A for auto.
Yes, in fact, I have a lot of auto stocks on my list, so you can interrupt me whenever, I go on for too long. I'm going to start with M&M. The stock is under pressure because the NGT issue where it's ordered a stoppage of, diesel cars flying in Delhi, that will impact M&M the most because 100% of M&M's portfolio is diesel cars. And M&M's existing cars like XUV 500, Scorpio, Bolero don't even have any petrol variants. In fact, Delhi accounts for about 4% of M&M's sales. So that's the damage that you're seeing. Maruti, a ban on diesel sales will actually lead to an eventual shift in demand for petrol cars, and that will benefit Maruti, Hyundai, Honda, etc. Maruti has a 60% market share in the petrol passenger car space. And apart from that, the other positive is that Prime Minister Modi has said that Japan will now import Maruti's cars to Japan. And this will be about 20 to 30,000 units will be imported per year. So that means Maruti's export sales will go up. Tata Motors, there's no major impact because of the NGT order. Only 17% of Tata Motors' revenues anyway comes from the domestic market. Majority of it is from JLR. And even within domestic, only 25% comes from the passenger vehicle space. So there's hardly any impact over there. Back to you.
We have an air quality problem in India that there's no doubt about, in Delhi specifically. Industry has to work with the regulators and the authorities to help solve the problem, and we have worked. We have worked for the last 15 years. We've been working with the government and regulators to aggressively reduce emissions in our vehicles. But I find it somewhat amazing that the whole blame today is coming on diesel vehicles, and they are sort of made culprit for everything that is going wrong to the environment. I think a consultation will find a solution. The solution has to be done in a manner that we take in consideration all aspects and not just the air quality in Delhi, and not single out one villain, which right now happens to diesel vehicles.
Also, auto companies enjoy higher margins in diesel cars vis-a-vis petrol cars, and therefore, if this ban is implemented, it could hurt their margins. By the way, some news on GVK Power, where the company, we understand from our sources, is planning to restructure the Mumbai and the Bangalore airport debt. Why the 5/25 rule? Mumbai Airport has a debt of close to about 8,000 crore rupees. It's an 8-9 rupees stock, but it's reacting positively to it. IDBI Bank, we'll try and touch base with GVK Power IDBI Bank, which is the lead consortium lender for Mumbai airports. But Lata, staying with the banking space, what are you picking up? PSU banks got hammered in trade on Friday. What's the latest in the way forward?
Well, actually, what didn't get hammered on Friday, a lot of them got, of course, the banking sector got an extra hammering. Today, actually, everyone's waiting for the 2:30 meeting, which the Reserve Bank has with bankers. It's 20 banks that have been invited, so it's private, public, just about everyone. There are a couple of things that will be a spot of bother, but the important point is that worry didn't start on Friday or today. This is something which RBI has been speaking to banks for a longish bit. One, they want to prepare for fuller provisioning by 2017. The fear is that you will never be able to call the end to the global contraction. So you don't know when the NPAs will end, but at least we can provide for them. That seems to be the argument. And in cases of corporate debt restructuring, where the promoters have not brought in their share, their shares have been pledged already and they can't unpledge them. In such cases, or they have not been able to do any asset sale, there the RBI may tell the banks to provide and not treat them as restructured assets. Secondly, in the strategic debt restructuring cases, the Reserve Bank is probably likely to ask banks to keep some provisioning as precaution. And if and when the sale is done, the provisions can be pulled back. But until then, suppose for 18 months you don't find any buyer, then a penal provisioning will hit very late. So they may ask them to prepare with additional provisions. But more importantly, this is a more constructive meeting than we have understood so far. It's also a meeting to assess what may be the provision requirements. Therefore, what may be the capital requirements of banks, where are they in the Basel III timetable? as well, if growth were to come in, how are they placed for growth capital, and therefore what are their capital raising plans? So requirements and their method of raising will also be assessed. So far we thought it's largely an NPA discussion. It's going to be beyond that also in terms of capital preparedness of banks. So watch that space. Probably the reaction will come in tomorrow.
Okay, so the scope of the meeting is also fairly wide. Varinder, over to you on Multi-Base India. Why is that stock buzzing today?
Well, we had that news of Dow Chemicals and DuPont getting merged, and that was nearly 130 billion merger. Now, of course, Multi-Base is a company which is controlled by Dow Chemicals and Corning put together. Both of them hold nearly 75% stake in this company. Now, also the news has come that Dow will become 100% owner of Dow Corning, which means that if there was a 50-50 JV between Dow and Corning, now that 100% will go to Dow. So going ahead, Multi-Base will be 100% owned by Dow Chemicals. Now, it's just a change in ownership which has happened in the Indian entity. People, are speculating, or people are believing that, since there's a global merger which has happened, there might be change in ownership in the Indian entity, and thus leading to something in terms of, open offer or something else. But that is not confirmed at all right at the moment. The thing is that in the Indian entity, if there were two partners, now there is only one partner, which is Dow Chemical. I am not sure whether anything else will happen to the Indian entity, but clearly it becomes a Dow Chemical company, 75% owned. So that stock is up by nearly 18% today in good volumes.
Okay, so that will be important to watch out for. Varinder, thanks for that.